1,240 meters. The crosswind is exactly 3.2 meters per second. Humidity is 62%. The barometric pressure is dropping fast. Flight time for the bullet will be 1.8 seconds. 250 grains of copper and lead. The target is stationary. He is breathing at 20 breaths per minute. You wait for the pause between your own heartbeats. Blood pressure spikes to 160/90. You exhale completely. Your lungs are entirely empty. 3 pounds of pressure separate a living man from dead tissue. You are 28 years old. Your central nervous system is a flawless machine. 0.1 millimeters of natural tremor. You are a biological tripod, a mathematical anomaly. The target is no longer isolated. Command overrides the protocol. A voice in your ear dictates reality. Execute. Collateral damage is acceptable within mission parameters. The rifle costs $14,000. The optic is another $4,500. Your combat pay is exactly $85 a day. The Italian silk suit on your target costs more than your yearly salary. You are simply a cheap tool operating expensive machinery. A $100 bullet to solve a $1 billion geopolitical problem. The child shifts slightly to the left, covering the target's center of mass. Kinetic energy does not care about morality. At impact, the bullet will deliver 6,000 joules of energy. It will vaporize bone, liquefy organs, and exit with enough velocity to penetrate concrete. If you pull the trigger now, 2 bodies will hit the pavement. If you disobey, your career is terminated. Court-martial, prison. The sympathetic nervous system floods your bloodstream with cortisol and adrenaline. You have 1.5 seconds to make a decision. You are the apex predator, but you feel entirely helpless. You are just a piece of government property deployed in the dirt. Expendable, replaceable. A biological component of the weapon system. The system demands blood. It always does. The clock ticks down to 0. The question echoes in your mind. How did I even get here? 1993. You are born into a mathematical deficit. Your existence costs your family $22,000 in hospital bills. 2000. You are 7 years old. Poverty is an exact science. 39 cents per meal. You consume barely 1,200 calories a day. Your father trades his spine for $14 an hour. 60 hours a week at the local stamping plant. Exhaustion breeds anger. Anger requires a physical outlet. You learn early that physics dictates domestic survival. Mass times acceleration equals trauma. You learn to hide. 2008. You are 15. The factory closes down. Your father's heart gives out completely. A blocked left anterior descending artery. A massive myocardial infarction. The final medical bill is $89,400. Death in poverty is not a tragedy. It is an administrative burden. You inherit 0 assets and the genetic predisposition to high blood pressure. You start running. 3 miles a day, not for sport, to escape the claustrophobia of the trailer walls. Your resting heart rate drops to 50 beats per minute. 2011. You are 18. Options are a luxury. You have a negative net worth. October 12th. 402 West Main Street. The point of no return. Staff Sergeant Miller, a government salesman trafficking in human capital. The room smells intensely of industrial floor wax and cheap coffee. Memorize this scent. It is the chemical signature of the system. He slides the paperwork across the laminated desk. A $20,000 signing bonus. 3 square meals a day. You divide $20,000 by the next 4 years. $13.69 a day. Less than your father made. But they provide the body bag for free. You trade your biological autonomy for a steady caloric intake. It is a purely logical transaction. You belong to them now. 36 hours later, you are on a bus to Fort Benning, 200 miles away from the trailer park. You are now government property under Title 10. You actually think you have escaped the poverty trap. You have absolutely no idea. The real meat grinder hasn't even started its engines yet. 2012. You are 19. Fort Benning, Georgia. The United States Army Sniper Course. Basic training stripped away your identity. Now they format your operating system. A 65-pound rucksack. 32 miles of forced march. Your L4 and L5 vertebrae begin to permanently compress under the load. Constant friction inside standard-issue boots creates second-degree dermal abrasions. Blisters burst. Blood fills your socks. You do not stop walking. Let us look at the dry accounting of your transformation. The M2010 Enhanced Rifle System cost $17,000. Advanced optics, laser rangefinders, and night vision add another $12,000. Over 7 weeks, you will fire 3,000 rounds of match-grade ammunition. The hardware is a capital investment. You are just a disposable biological mount. They teach you the physics of death. Applied destructive mathematics. Gravity. Aerodynamic drag. Wind deflection. Barometric pressure. Temperature shifts. You memorize the Coriolis effect, the actual rotation of the Earth shifting bullet impact. At 1,000 meters, the planet literally rotates under your target during bullet flight. Then comes the stalking phase. Complete physical dehumanization. You spend 4 hours crawling 200 meters through mud and decaying vegetation. Insects bite your face. Fire ants inject formic acid into your forearms. Histamine response triggers severe physiological itching. Your nervous system begs you to scratch. If you twitch a single muscle, the instructors spot you. You fail the course. Chronic sleep deprivation and central nervous system fatigue take their toll. Your base tremor amplitude increases to 0.3 millimeters. You learn to suppress it by intentionally crashing your own heart rate. You become an autonomic control freak, a reptile wrapped in Kevlar. Empathy is successfully uninstalled. It is a useless variable in the ballistic equation. Week 7. You graduate in the top 10% of your class. A $2 piece of stamped metal to validate your total loss of humanity. You think the hardest part is over. You think mastering the math of the rifle makes you powerful. You are dead wrong. 2014. You are 21. Helmand Province, Afghanistan. The air is a thick mixture of pulverized sand, burning plastic, and JP-8 aviation fuel. Ambient temperature is 114 degrees Fahrenheit. Your body immediately begins losing critical electrolytes through aggressive perspiration. Day 4 of deployment. Operation Overwatch. You are positioned deep inside a ruined structure, invisible from the outside. You have not moved your lower body for 14 hours. Hydration is strictly mathematically rationed. 4 ounces of hot water every 90 minutes. The objective is a supply route. Route clearance patrols use it daily. At 0600 hours, an anomaly enters the sector. A local national, digging near the choke point, laying copper wire. He is planting a pressure plate improvised explosive device. He does not look like a soldier. He looks like a terrified farmer. Intelligence reports local cartels force civilians to plant explosives under threat of execution. The illusion of choice presents itself. Option A. You shoot a man who is likely acting under severe duress. Option B. You do nothing, and an American patrol vehicle hits 40 pounds of homemade explosives tomorrow. Morality is a luxury you left at the recruitment office. Distance is 620 meters. You perform the mechanical sequence. Lungs empty, heart rate stabilized, 3 pounds of pressure. Ignition. Flight time is less than 1 second. The physics of a 190-grain hollow-point bullet striking soft tissue are absolute. Hydrostatic shock destroys the central nervous system instantly. He does not hear the gunshot. He is dead before the sound waves reach him. You cycle the bolt. A fresh round chambers automatically. You wait for the emotional collapse. You wait for the remorse. But there is only silence and a profound, clinical emptiness. Then the biological reaction begins. An adrenaline dump floods your system. Your base tremor amplitude spikes to 0.8 millimeters. Your body knows it has just terminated another human algorithm. Good hit, Viper 2. Target neutralized. Resume scanning. You are no longer a person. You are a confirmed line item in a combat report. You crossed the line. You traded a human life for a performance metric. You think the nightmares will start now. You think this is the bottom of the abyss. You thought this was the worst. You were wrong. 2020. You are 27. You leave the government feed trough. You enter the private sector. A private military company buys your specialized musculoskeletal memory. The United States military paid you $85 a day. The corporation pays you $1,400 a day, plus performance bonuses. Blood money deposited directly into untraceable offshore accounts. Your new tool is a Barrett multi-role adaptive design, chambered in 338 Norma Magnum. A precision corporate scalpel, mounted with a thermal clip-on optic worth $25,000. You have the absolute best technology corporate capital can provide, but your biological hardware is beginning to critically fail. Chronic stress and adrenaline toxicity have fundamentally degraded your central nervous system. Propranolol, beta blockers, 4 milligrams every single morning. They chemically block adrenaline from binding to your heart receptors. They artificially freeze the tremor in your hands. You drug yourself into stability. Let us run the dry accounting of your so-called success. You are exceedingly wealthy. You are elite. You are fundamentally broken. 2022, Eastern Syria. An independent oil extraction facility. Your corporation is contracted to protect the pipeline from local insurgents. It is pure corporate warfare. No flags, no ideology, only profit margins. You do not wear a uniform. You wear sterile, unmarked tactical gear. If you die out here, you simply cease to exist on any official paper. 0300 hours. The thermal sensor detects 3 incoming heat signatures. White hot mode. The human body is nothing but a biological radiator. 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit radiating against the freezing desert sand. They are carrying improvised explosive devices toward the primary pumping station. Distance is exactly 850 meters. Your heart rate is an artificial 45 beats per minute. You do not see human beings anymore. You only see abstract thermal geometry. Target 1. Center mass. The suppressed rifle sounds like a heavy industrial pneumatic nailer. The recoil delivers 50 pounds of rearward kinetic force into your clavicle. The 300-grain bullet hits the thoracic cavity at Mach 2. Bolt cycle, 1.2 seconds. A fresh round is chambered. Target 2 reacts to the impact sound. He turns perfectly sideways, exposing the entire lateral surface of his ribcage. Ignition. The kinetic energy severs the spinal cord instantly. Complete motor function failure. Target 3 drops the heavy explosives and sprints desperately toward the rocks, calculating lateral lead for a moving target at 900 meters. Flight time is 1.4 seconds. You aim exactly 2 meters ahead of his accelerating chest. Send it. The heat signature drops to the ground and permanently stops moving. 3 triggers pulled. 12 seconds total elapsed operational time. You just earned a $15,000 hazard bonus. You feel absolutely nothing. No guilt, no adrenaline, no triumph. You are an apex predator operating in a total vacuum of morality. 2 weeks later, mandatory R&R in Dubai. The corporate card covers endless bottles of Macallan 25, $4,000 a bottle, to anesthetize the rapid rotting of your soul. High-end companions cost $2,000 a night. You look at her perfect symmetry and only calculate her underlying skeletal structure. You assess her center of mass, the exact ballistic trajectory to her brain stem. You cannot turn the targeting computer off. Your brain is permanently wired for murder. Your Cayman account balance hits $1.2 million. You have successfully and completely commodified your own humanity. You live in a state of absolute luxurious, suffocating anhedonia. The beta blockers stop the tremor. The heavy SSR is stop the nightmares. You genuinely think you have reached the ceiling and outplayed the system. You think this high-tech invincibility will last forever. You are wrong. Payback will come in exactly 3 years. 2026. You are 33. We return to the roof. The broken city. The crosswind. The distance. The target. The child. The voice of the corporate handler in your ear repeats the order. Execute. Collateral damage is acceptable. Clear the board. You apply 2.8 pounds of pressure to the trigger, and then the biological machine suffers a catastrophic system failure. You cannot exhale. Your lungs freeze. 15 years of suppressed psychological trauma violently breaches containment. The beta blockers are completely overwhelmed by the massive adrenaline toxicity. The tremor amplitude violently spikes to 4.2 millimeters. You physically cannot make the shot. The algorithm is broken. You pull your hand away from the weapon. You press the transmit button. Negative. I do not have the shot. The silence on the encrypted channel is absolute. You think they will court-martial you. You forget you are a corporate asset. The system does not care about your moral awakening. It has redundancies. A corporate loitering munition vaporizes the Great Square. Target and child included. Your humanity changed absolutely nothing. The math of death remained identical. Except now, you are a defective piece of hardware. The liquidation process begins immediately. Extraction to a corporate black site. Not for torture, for accounting. A lawyer in an Italian suit replaces the combat handler. Clause Section 4, Paragraph B. Refusal to execute operational parameters. You are diagnosed with chronic operational fatigue. A liability. Your security clearance is permanently revoked. You are stripped of your weapon, your armor, your identity. They put you on a commercial flight back to the United States. Coach class. You try to log into your offshore banking application. The Cayman's account is frozen. Standard corporate asset seizure for breach of contract. $1.2 million erased with a single keystroke. You return to where you started. A cheap room, peeling wallpaper. Without the corporate medical supply, the beta blockers run out. The physiological withdrawal hits your nervous system like a freight train. Your fine motor skills completely evaporate. You cannot even write your own name. Base tremor amplitude approaches 5 millimeters. Permanent neurological damage. The machine is broken beyond repair. The warranty is void. You try to enter the Veterans Affairs medical system, but your last 6 years of combat do not exist on any official government record. To the state, you have been unemployed since 2020. You are ineligible for psychiatric care. Ineligible for disability compensation. You traded your body and soul for a digital number that vanished. The system squeezed out every drop of kinetic value from your bones, and then it threw the empty husk into the gutter. You are back to the exact mathematical deficit of your childhood. 0 assets, a failing heart, a broken mind. The physics of your existence have collapsed entirely. December 2026. You are 33 years old, a state-funded homeless shelter in the Rust Belt. The ambient temperature is 50 degrees. The heating system is broken. The air smells of industrial floor wax and cheap institutional soap. The exact chemical signature of the recruitment office. The loop closes. You have traveled the world simply to die in the same smell. Your base tremor amplitude hits maximum capacity, 5.2 millimeters. You cannot hold a spoon. You cannot lift a cup of water. The biological engine finally ceases. It is not a heroic battlefield injury. It is basic genetics. Severe coronary artery disease. A blocked left anterior descending artery. The exact same massive myocardial infarction that killed your father. No medics. No medevac helicopters. No golden hour. Just a rapid, painful cessation of blood flow to the heart muscle. You exhale completely. Your lungs are entirely empty. You wait for the pause between your own heartbeats, but the next beat never comes. The tremor finally stops. Time of death, 0400 hours. Let us run the final accounting of your existence. You are classified as an indigent decedent, property of the county. The state pays exactly $112 for the body bag. Cremation costs $850. The ashes are buried in a mass grave with 19 other unidentified biological units. The total final cost of your existence is under $1,000. There is no flag draped over a coffin. There is no rifle volley. That is Hollywood marketing. That is the myth they sell to the next generation of poor teenagers. The reality is a municipal spreadsheet, a statistical write-off. You were never a hero. You were never an elite warrior. You were just a highly expensive tool, rented cheaply and discarded when broken. Let us look at the final dry statistics of your existence. Years lived, exactly 33. A fundamentally short product life cycle. Total capital generated, $2.8 million. Capital retained, 0%. Unique metric, 3,450 milligrams of beta blockers consumed. Cause of death, myocardial infarction. An administrative write-off for the county budget. Hollywood sold you a lucrative lie. Let us dismantle the mythology. Myth 1. The lone wolf operator. The independent battlefield ghost. Reality. You are just the final, cheapest mechanical component in a vast kill chain. The trigger is actually pulled by algorithms, surveillance satellites, and intelligence analysts. Myth 2. The surgical, clean, professional kill. Reality. High-velocity kinetic energy is catastrophically messy. It turns human biology into a localized explosive event. There is zero dignity in physics. Myth 3. The wealthy corporate contractor retiring in absolute luxury. Reality. You own absolutely nothing. Your existence is leased. The corporation controls the offshore servers. You are wealthy only until you become a liability. If this story made you feel the smell of cheap institutional soap and the cold recoil of a corporate rifle crushing your clavicle, hit like. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. We tell the stories they do not show in movies. In the next video, a new truth. Write a profession in the comments. Your voice decides someone else's fate. Until next time.